And now your host, Noreen McClendon.
Good evening, everybody, and this is another session of Free to Heal, where we are formerly incarcerated and loved ones. We come together every week so that we can heal from those wounds that were caused by our experience with mass incarceration. And every week we come together and we kind of chop it up and talk about those things that affect us. I want to, at the top of the evening this evening, I want to say a heavenly happy birthday to my daddy. Today is my daddy's birthday. I miss him something vicious. He was real smart guy. And one of the things that he gave me, above and beyond everything, is an ability to write. All of his children, we all got it from him. He was a writer for Guns and Ammo magazine, on the side, working for the city of Philadelphia and being a writer. And so today I just acknowledge my dad and hope that he's hearing me tell him that I love him and I miss him. I'm going to, what we're doing here tonight is I wanted to talk about how we deal with conflicts and what are the tools that we're using. So let me just say this. I wrote a couple of books. As I mentioned, I got that from my dad. Um, Hurt People Highway, Identifying Unhealthy Elements in Relationships, and Living Authentically You, 5 Steps to Personal Peace. And I wrote a curriculum for this book, and it is in this workbook here. And one of the questions that I ask in the workbook is, what method or methods of resolving conflict have you used with an intimate partner that consistently produce the best outcomes for both of you? Now, the reason I want to talk about what do we do, what are the tools that we're using in conflict? Oftentimes we are in conflict, but we have never been given tools to actually make it effective or get to the result that we're looking for. So I dated a guy and he had two tools, fight and flight. That was it. So if a conflict arose, um, he couldn't fight me. That much he knew. Maybe I should say he didn't want to fight me because he could have easily fought me and like plucked me in the head, and that would have been that. But thankfully, he wasn't into that. But then what that meant and what that left him with was, and left us with was, um, flight. And so if ever there was a conflict in our relationship or something that didn't just mesh together, he either ignored it or he just disappeared. And that is not an effective way to deal with conflict, or anything that needs to be resolved. So my question to everybody is, what are some of the things that you do that actually work? And I will tell you, I can tell you one of the things that I do. It comes from the book, The Four Agreements. And one of those agreements is don't make assumptions. So what I do is, if I'm not sure what's going on, I'll ask questions. I ask questions and let people give me the answers. If I have an intimate partner, mind you, I want to just step back a second and say this too. Good relationship habits and practices apply to all relationships. If you find that, even in relationships with children, um, honesty, integrity, um, truthfulness in terms of just and not hiding things, asking questions instead of making assumptions. That also works in the workplace, right? Ask questions, don't make assumptions. So that is one thing that I can get clarity. What I'm able to do is by asking questions and not making assumptions, I allow the person, number one, to keep their dignity and not feel attacked. In conflict resolution, when we feel attacked, we tend to fight. If you back somebody in a corner, they're going to fight. So, what we need to do is figure out how to get the information and how to get resolution without always fighting and shutting down communication. Because once people back themselves into a corner or into a position and they're ready to fight, communication is stopped. I know for me, once you piss me off, usually it's when I'm hurt. When I'm hurt is when I want to fight the most. But in conflict resolution, I found um, if you if you give me a chance to express myself or not assume you know what I'm thinking or what's going on with me, you're more likely to get a resolution for that. So one of the things that I use, again, I use asking questions. Another one is just expressing how I feel without saying things like, you always do so and so. You make me, why you do this to me? Da, 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 da. As opposed to saying, this is how I feel. When this happened, this is how I feel. When this is the message that it sends me when this happens in our relationship. And so what that does is, again, it allows a person to say, well, that wasn't what I intended, or that wasn't what I did. But this is how this is what happened. And then we can begin to have a conversation. But one of the things I know, particularly about people and working with so many people that have been incarcerated, is this concept that I'm so glad to be free that I just don't want to make waves. I just don't want to make waves. I want to go along. I want to get along. I don't want no problems. And that is psychological residue
Abuse.
from being incarcerated.
Abuse.
Uh-huh. Go ahead. What were you going to say, Tony? I mean, oh, that's Diane. Hi.
I said abuse.
Uh-huh.
Psychological abuse to yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, because what you're doing is you're not expressing your feelings and you're not standing up or being assertive for your own position. And as a result of that, you subject yourself to abuse. And it's just not healthy for anybody to not express their feelings because they don't want to make waves. Or they don't want to be they don't want to be a problem. No, I'm okay. No, you're not okay. If whatever's going on, tell the truth. Stand up for yourself. Say those things. So again, to everybody on tonight, my question is, what things do you do that and when you're dealing with, almost, you can say anybody. Go ahead, Chester. I'm going to come to you. That is successful when you're dealing with conflict.
Hello, can you
Uh
hear me now?
uh-huh.
Um, well, me, I think in order to
I
learn
can only
how
see your
to,
wall, Chester. I can't see you.
can you see
Okay, there
me
you
now?
go. Uh-huh.
Yeah, I think with me, I had to learn how to learn effective speaking and effective listening, and learn I statements, like you're saying. Tell a person how I feel. If me and my girl is in a conflict, sometimes I have to lower my voice, and watch my tone and how I deliver my message, so she won't get up, really upset or feel back in the corner, or feel like I'm just making her feel uncomfortable. And I learned to try to listen to what she's saying, not just listen to speak. I let her finish what she's saying and how she feels. And that way we able to get through our problems sometimes, because we had a conflict last week and I had to check myself by lowering my voice and listen to her. And I spoke my piece, she spoke hers, and we was able to get through our little problem. So I think the main thing is really listening to that person. Like you say, don't assume, but let that person finish telling you how they feel or what you're doing to them. And always try to use I statements.
Yeah.
How you made me feel. I felt you disrespect me when you talk to me like this or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And I think it would be better, better for people. But in order for it to work, you have to practice it a lot so it can become part of you, who you are. It's not easy. And
No,
like she
sir.
said, people get out of, it's like when people, like she said, when people get out of prison, they self sabotage themselves. I want to get along. I want to do this. But you will get along, but you also have to be yourself as well.
Yes.
So that's
Yes.
my take on it.
Yes.
You
And
know.
that's so awesome because it's awesome because there are a couple of things that you said, one of which was tone. I
Yeah.
am working with a coworker who, let's face it, sometimes we're loud. As minorities, we talk
Yeah.
loud. Our movements are loud. We're just loud.
Yeah.
And she has a tendency to be loud. Well, what happens is there are some people who have a problem when your tone is too high, right? So I've
Mm-hmm.
suggested to her, I've given her this suggestion. When you're speaking to the tenants, try to whisper. Practice whispering. Practice that way.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it comes out, you think you whispering and you're not good at whispering, at least it's just a regular tone. Okay. Now, you also said something else, practice. Practice, you have to practice. You have to put into use on a regular basis all of those things that you learn, or those things you talked about, what you talked about is called active listening. Listening for the sake of understanding, allowing a person to be heard, listen to understand instead of to respond or to speak. Those are real tools that you can use that will help you get through conflicts. But active listening is important. It's important in work, it's important in effective communication, and it's certainly important, and I think even more important, in conflict resolution. If you're not hearing what the other person is saying, or you let them say something, like when you talk about listening to respond, people do this. I already have in my mind what you're going to say. So the minute you say the first word of the sentence that I think means whatever I think it is, from there on out, I think I already know what you're saying, but you don't know what I'm saying.
You don't. You don't. You don't.
You just don't know. You think you know. And then you begin to respond as if you do know. And what happens from there is that now we're totally not communicating. The I statements, again, that's very important. Talking about how it affects you, how you feel about it. Then somebody can say, well, I don't want you to feel that way, and may not even be aware that what they did made you feel that way. They may not be looking at it in the same way. And so it's very important, again, for us to make sure that we're giving people an opportunity to really understand what we're saying, making sure we can be heard, making sure they can be heard, because conflict is a two-way street, and so is resolution. It's two people in a conflict, but it takes two people to resolve that as well. Okay, so I thank you for that. Anybody else? All right, I'm calling y'all. Okay. How about you, Miss Monica? Talk to me, Miss Monica. Gotta unmute.
There we go. Can you hear me
Okay,
now?
there you go. There you are.
How about me? I don't understand the question.
And the question is, the question is, um, what do you use that really works in, in conflict resolution, particularly if you have a partner, or just even in general? What tools do you use for conflict resolution that present, or they give you the best results?
Well, I start off pretty cool, but when I see that they reject, they, they want to give you the silent treatment or they don't want to discuss it and they hang up. Now that pisses me off because, we if you don't want to hear it, you know, then how are we going to resolve the problem?
Right. Yeah.
So that was Cheryl. Cheryl's looking at, what are you looking at, Cheryl? Um, my last boyfriend, that was one of the biggest problems we had. I would want to discuss things with him, and I was, no, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk, and it would hang up. I was like,
Yeah.
and that would piss me off,
Yeah.
you know. But I would start out good, but then
Well, you
forget
know,
it.
one of the things when I hear you say, "Oh," and that would make me mad, right? It makes me think. All I can hear is Cheryl telling Diane long time ago, "Just because you mad don't justify anything," right? And it was the most like it was the biggest revelation Diane had had in for a long time. She was like, "What?" You know, but yeah, it was like that doesn't justify anything. So I didn't know what Cheryl was, what face she was making at you, but she was good at explaining that. And at the end of the day, um, a person has to hang up on somebody. That is rude. That's just disrespect, no matter how you look at it. That is not going to go well. That is not going to produce conflict resolution. Although I will say this, understanding that men and women function differently. We
Mm,
respond, we process differently. Okay.
mm, mm.
Right. We process differently, Monica. So what I learned is that men process in blocks, like the waffle, little squares.
Logic,
Yes,
no
well,
emotion.
and even if his emotion is only going to be this one right here, right now. They're not doing okay. So we tend to process a lot of things at one time. Our function and our purpose is nurturing, right? In order to nurture, we got to nurture everybody in the household, everybody in the family. In
Mm,
order to do that, we got to pay attention to everything. We weave a lot of things together to make the family function.
mhm.
Well, if if I if I'm saying to a man and I have a conflict with my husband or my significant other, and I am telling him, I tell him three, four, five different things that he's been doing that's getting on my nerves. He's still processing the first one when I'm three or four down the road. And then I probably likely told him a bunch of details that only confuse him. And then I'll say, well, say something. And he's thinking, I don't even know what to say. One of the things I learned from this book, that made the most sense is that cleared up a lot of things for me is that men have a place where they go where their brain is just, they're not thinking of anything. Women don't have that. The concept of what are you thinking about? Nothing. What do you mean nothing? And I mean, we are angry and adamant. What the hell do you mean nothing? No, you just don't want to tell me what you're thinking. The truth of the matter is, men have a place that we don't have. We don't have that. So when I realized that no, they really do have a place where they can go where they're not thinking about anything. Normally they're recharging. But because we're always processing on our way to sleep, in our sleep, we are processing. They don't do that. So then what happens is they're overwhelmed. It's like information overload. Information overload. And we're like, what? Okay. I don't even know what to say at this point. But then we're angry about that because we think that they're BSing us. And in reality, they're not. They really may not be thinking about anything. I found that the most astounding thing because I couldn't, what do you mean nothing? What do you mean they're not thinking about nothing? Oh no, you thinking about something, but that's because in my experience, that's not a real thing. What do you mean? I'm always thinking about something. And so again, the way we process is so different. So if your significant other is, I don't want to talk about that, and they just hang up again. Remember, I started off and I said my ex, he had two tools, fight and flight. And since he couldn't fight me, that wasn't available. Only thing he would just disappear. Let me go. Let me not be a part of this conversation anymore. And let me run from it. But the problem with that, like you said, is well, first of all, I feel like you don't care about what I'm saying. But then on top of that, we haven't resolved anything. Nothing has been fixed. We haven't fixed a damn thing. So now I'm mad that you hung up or disappeared or left and haven't. Okay, so now we got worse going on than what we did before.
Mhm.
Okay, now we got another problem because I feel disrespected. I may have felt unheard or unseen or whatever before. Now I feel disrespected. And now we're in a totally different zone. So that makes a lot of sense though, Monica, why you would, feel that way. But I also want to just say to you that if you if in dealing with men, it may be a good idea to deal with one issue at a time. Let's
One,
get through that one first,
yeah,
right?
and it's true. They do have the. I don't know if you know the comedian Bill Burr. He has a skit where he says, "My wife will ask me, what are you thinking about? Nothing. I'm in my box. Well, what's your box made? I'm not thinking about nothing." And so men will say that they are not thinking about anything, and our mind is always, well, mine is at least.
Mine, and I see, I didn't even know, I didn't hear that. That's funny. So he made a whole skit about it.
Yeah.
It's real for him.
Right.
And that is, and I want to come to you, D-Dub. I want to see what you think about it.
Yeah. We're usually thinking about food, so don't even trip. I mean, there's got to be a food issue going on, but it's always that. So that if we're saying nothing, it's just like, oh, when's dinner? That's pretty much what's
That's
going on.
hilarious.
But yeah, I mean, my relationship is so complicated as far as dealing with conflict because I'm with alcoholic, severe, and luckily she went into rehab and it looks like it's going well, but it's only been still early days. But let's just say, with an alcoholic who has bad memory because of the alcohol, she has bad memory while we're having conversations. So conflict arises. I'm more like shut down too because nothing gets resolved in any kind of secure way. I guess you say like the issue just floats, and I could speak so calm and just be listening and trying to hear but she runs around in circles and doesn't even know what she remembers saying. So I mean, my issue with conflict resolution right now is very just up in the air, and but she's sober now, and I don't know. We've had like not issues, but she's learning to deal with me as a sober person now, and it's different. And I've been sober for however 20 something years. So, uh, I mean, I can't even understand that alcoholism, that the level that she reached. And so, I mean, I was more in the like
Okay, because right now.
hiding. I had to go hide from her because she was just off the hook, and it was just really hard to deal with. But at some point, she realized she had too much, and a lot of family was putting on pressure on her to get help. She finally went in, and so now I'm learning to be with her as two sober people, which is much better. But now it's a different way of her way of thinking is more clear headed, and before she wouldn't notice very much because she's drunk or whatever, she's just la la la, and but now any little thing it feels off to her, it's more noticeable, and she kind of like feels her insecurities more because she's less inhibited. She's more inhibited now. She's seeing her weight problem maybe, or she's getting old. She's 56, I guess. So menopause is there, hot flashes, uh, bladder issues. I mean, it's just a whole thing. And I love her, and I try to stick. I mean, it's not wise for a parolee to be with an alcoholic. I already know, uh, especially as an ex-alcoholic or drug addict. And so, I learned how to deal
Ask
with
you a
my
question.
addiction.
Can I
Yeah,
ask you a question?
yeah.
What do you see that you have that's going to be different from any other parolee addict? In other words, what do you have that's going to make this a success? Because this sounds like a lot to me.
Well, yeah, I have a lot of
My first concern is a former alcoholic trying to deal with an alcoholic.
yeah.
And I understand she's, just come out of rehab, but that would be because I'm a little concerned about what caused you, what made you think you could handle it when before rehab?
Yeah, well, it was touch and go. I didn't know if I could handle it.
Mm.
And so, you know, I made commitments and stuff to her, and not that I'm bound by it, like by marriage or anything. It's just, it's kind of like, because we're cons and stuff, we have our word is our bond and stuff type stuff, and it's playing games with my head, like, oh no, you got to stick it out no matter what. You know, I'm real loyal, and we both had past relationships that were the opposite of that, and so now, I mean, she deserves. I believe she's. I know her as a sober person, for as like moments of her in between, like drinking, she's had those, you know, but I've also seen her at her worst. But I mean, my being an ex alcoholic is helpful to her now, especially, but it didn't help when she was at her worst. But I have this self discipline that she can learn from. I have persistence and wanting to conquer my demons that could help her, I believe, pass on to her. And she has mentioned that too, that she needs to lean on some of that. And my experience with sobriety, I don't know. There's a lot for me to offer her. And uh, as far as me being a parolee and like had difficulties with that, is, you know, there's been moments where I was just like, this is not good. There's alcohol in the car or something, you know, it's just, I'm fucking up. I can't be doing this. And she know, and I try to express it to her, and it's just oblivious to it when she's in her drinking mode, is just totally oblivious to what's dangerous to me. But I don't know.
I'll say this. I'll say this, baby. As a person that cares about you,
Yeah,
take off your cape.
yeah,
Take off your cape, baby. Take off your cape because you got so much to lose.
yeah,
So much to lose. And I say not, and I'm not trying to encourage you to step out of your relationship. I just want you to be realistic about what your capacity is to
mm,
be in that relationship. You can't save her.
no,
She's got to do that on her own. And she's got to get to the root of whatever caused the addiction and the drinking in the first place. And I mean, I just worry just because of what you said, right? A parolee,
yeah,
former alcoholic, trying to deal with somebody who's, less than 90 days clean,
yeah,
right? And sober. I'm concerned about your ability and the potential pitfalls and things that can happen to you as a result of you trying to help somebody else. That I just want you to really think about the wisdom of that because love is a great thing, right? It really is. And again, I would never try to encourage anybody to break up out of their relationship
right,
unless I thought it was hurting them. And I do have a concern that it may cost you something that you can't afford to give. I mean, you still trying to get on your feet. And I don't say, and maybe it's not so much totally ending it, but maybe there's some guardrails or some boundaries or things that you can put in place. And certainly now with her sober, it'll certainly be a lot easier to do that. Like they'll make more sense
yeah,
um,
yeah, yeah,
now that she's sober. But I just wanna caution you to don't. As I was saying earlier about um, I don't want to make waves, everything I'm okay just because. No, 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 no. I don't want you to do the same thing. Let your loyalty become an albatross around your neck and cause you to stay in a situation where you know you should be removing yourself. Because again, you got too many years that you gave the system. You don't have no more years to give them. And trying to be there for her, I admire that. I admire that. What I do say is, I need you to be there for you first.
yeah,
I need you to be the highest priority on your list because it can really go bad in a split second, you know. And I had a guy in Solano one day, and he was telling me, he was asking me, I was doing a workshop there. And the guy asked me this question, and he's going, My girlfriend, I realized, I've been doing work on myself and I realized I'm really broken. I looked at my life and my childhood and I'm really broken. And then I looked at my girl's life and I realized that she's really, really broken. And so what I want to ask you is, what advice do you have for me being able to make this relationship work when I get out? And let me just step back and say, he went into incarceration at 17 and he was now 54. So
That's
you
what I
were in
am. 54.
prison your entire adult life. You're broken. She's broken. And you want me to tell you how to make this work. I said, the only thing I can tell you is run.
Mhm.
Run. There is nothing about that I would advise you when you get out. He was actually going to be 52. He said, I'm getting out and I'm getting ready to get out. And I said, listen, you're going to have so many adjustments to make. Just having been incarcerated all this time and trying to acclimate back into society, you don't have the bandwidth. You're not going to have any room on your plate for you to try to make two broken people form some great relationship and make it last. He said, you sound like my sister. She told me the same thing. Okay, so that means that he had gotten that same advice before. And he didn't listen. So he was looking for a different answer, but he got the same answer. And again, I would never tell you to leave your relationship. I will suggest very strongly that you think about some boundaries that you can set that will protect you, because and like I said, of course, now that she's sober, that helps. But I just don't want to see you. I'd be really, really, really hurt and upset if you trying to be there and be loyal to somebody would cause you to now all of a sudden wind up in a situation that can jeopardize your freedom because you was trying to be there for her. So I thank you for your openness about it, and even allowing me to weigh in and ask you that question, because you don't have to. So, and hopefully there may be somebody else that may join this conversation that may get a benefit out of what we're just discussing. I mean, let's face it, I don't know of anybody that I know that didn't stay in a relationship too long. I, I've stayed in too many of them for too long. And so I say, um, pay attention to the warning signs. Don't ignore them. Don't let the sense of loyalty, or another one is people don't want to be alone. And that is another big one that causes us to stay in relationships much longer than we should. So I'm just saying to us, make sure that we're not staying too long. When we see the handwriting on the wall, or when things talk about conflict, but when things um, get dangerous, or you see a person doing something and you say, okay, that's not cool, and they keep doing it, then they either can't stop or they won't stop. For your purposes, it doesn't matter which one. They didn't stop. And that is when you have to decide. That is normally where people come to that point in the road where they say, oh, this is complicated. No, it's not. It's not complicated. We don't like the choices that are in front of us, but those choices are what's to protect us. So it's very important. But again, I want to put it out there. Anybody have any particular thing they do in conflict that they see? Go ahead, Di.
I've learned in conflict as of today is when you start off with talking with somebody, talk at a tone where it doesn't sound aggressive. If you speak at a tone like I'm speaking right now, and you effectively say everything you need to say, don't be stagnant the conversation. Just say what you need to say and give that person a chance to say what they need to say. Don't butt in. Don't be like, just say it calmly and then let them say what they have to say. That to me, I see it worked today. I did it today. It was awesome. But I opened it up with, we all gonna sit here and speak. Everybody, but effective communication works two ways. One person speaks, everybody listens, and then the next person speaks and everybody listens. But when you're trying to solve a problem, you don't start off with so and so told me. Don't do that. Don't do that, because what am I doing to that person that I'm talking about? That person's getting defensive already. So when they speak, they're already ready to. No, we're not going to do that. I said, I heard some things And that's what I'm here for. I'm explaining what I've heard. But it went smooth. I spoke just like I'm speaking now, and it went real smooth. It went perfectly. And I was like, oh, okay, so this just works.
It
But I tell
does
you
work,
something,
right?
it works. It
The
works.
tools work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they work. I'm like, okay, this works. This really worked because I was with two people that I know is very hostile.
Mm.
I'm gonna talk about very. So I was like, oh, I'm sitting in my head like, oh, how am I gonna get this to go smooth? We can really get it done. But it worked. I sat there really calm. I was early. I sat there. I was 15 minutes early, sitting there thinking, okay, how am I gonna do this? How am I gonna set this up right? Because it has to go right for everybody right here to it can affect. They can hear it. He can receive it. We can talk about it because that's how it has to go. It has to go just like that. It's all order. It's all steps. But dealing with the people I was dealing with, I didn't think it was gonna really work with them because you already know. So you said anything, they get real defensive already. They ready to tell no, but I told them, listen, I did tell them this too. If you get to screaming and hollering, I'm cutting off the meeting. I'm calling Norena instead of asking I send you home. That's what I will do today because we're not gonna do that today. But everything went perfectly smooth. We resolved the issue and I had a nice day.
I'm really happy about that because, I have been working with you a lot on communication and how to do things. And it's like, and how to I think one of the things I'm good at is how to diffuse, how to
Mm-hmm.
bring it down, or how to get it in a circumstance where everybody can hear. And I think that that's one of the things that I am good at doing, that has allowed me to learn it. And I've been supervising people for a long, long, long time, and the kind of population that we're working with, my nonprofit, um, is our part of our mission is to employ people that other people may not employ. We have always worked with people formerly incarcerated. We work with people who may have some challenges, but they have skills, and we want them to be able to feed their family. We try to build the human capital in our neighborhood, which is South
Mm-hmm.
Central LA. We are
Mm-hmm.
in South Central LA proper, and so we try to give people that might have some skills, and we could train them to do some things so that they can feed their families. Well, a lot of what comes with that, dealing with people who are underemployed, is that they got challenges, and that's the reason that they're underemployed. I like to call Diane the crazy whisperer. She has a way of dealing with crazy people,
I
and
do. It's crazy. I do.
it was so funny because one we went on a vacation, and she got a phone call from a family member, and I'm listening to this phone call, and it occurred to me, oh, she's been dealing with crazy people her whole life. That's a skill she's got. No wonder she was sitting here to deal with my crazy people,
The
because
kindergartners, yeah.
they not kindergartners.
Yes, they are.
They not kindergartners.
Yes, they are. And today some of them graduated.
Oh, you can't even tell them that though. I bet you go tell them, they're gonna tell you they grown.
Yeah,
I'm a grown
they're
ass
like,
woman.
oh no,
You know that's what
no.
they're gonna tell you.
Yes, yes,
Right?
yes,
And that's half of
yes,
the challenge, right? I'm
yes.
grown, but yet I want to act like a kid, right?
Mhm,
But
yes. Because
yeah,
he couldn't wait to get me by myself. He was like, can we walk the building? Can we walk? I was like, okay, calm down.
uh-huh.
Let me finish my food and I'm gonna walk with you.
Okay.
So we got up there, he's like that. I said, wait, bring it down.
See,
Bring it down.
see.
First of all, you got to bring it down. You and bring it down, but you got to calm down too and bring it all the way down.
Yeah.
So you can hear what I'm going to tell you because you want to tell me something, but I'm going to tell you one. Let me tell you a trick. Let me tell you something that I learned from my sis. Let me tell you something. If you
Okay.
keep feeding something, it's going to keep growing.
It's gonna grow.
So what I did, I
What's gonna
argue.
grow? That thing that we
So
feed.
yes, and
Whatever
I
we
told him, and
focus on.
then I hit him with, I used the reverse psychology back on him. I said, you know what? I said, if you an addict, I keep feeding you dope, you gonna keep getting high, right? That man looked at me like, yeah. So stop feeding it, baby. You want to say this. I'm not gonna say none of those. Stop feeding it.
Yeah.
What are you worrying about her for?
Yeah.
Worry about you. You have a check with your name on it.
Oh, her
With
name's
your
not on
name.
the check.
Worry about you. Oh, you right. But no, don't button me. Stop feeding it and
Not
let it
right now.
go. Let it go. Just stop. I said, I effectively stopped y'all from this other stuff y'all was doing for so long. That worked, right? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, once again, stop feeding it. Then we gonna do this walk or we not? Oh yeah, yeah. Come on. Okay, thank you. Because we're
Uh,
not gonna talk about this conversation all day. We're not gonna do that.
uh-huh.
Because that was over like 30 minutes ago now. Oh yes, that's why I like talking to you. Mm-hmm. Yeah, whatever.
They like the
Whatever.
crazy whisperer. I'm gonna tell you.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
they
tell you.
do.
They like her.
They
They
do.
like
They
her
tell me,
because
yeah, they
you
do.
speak their language. You speak crazy well. You know, it's
I
not my
do. But I
fault.
but I speak it
I
really
didn't give you
calm.
the gift.
Yeah,
I didn't.
yeah. But see, when I'm
I
talking
didn't
with
do
them, yeah,
that.
because when I'm with them when I'm at work, I speak really humble until I get to a level where I feel like, okay, you playing me, or you trying to punk me? So that's when I turn into the other one. Like, so what you saying? What you saying? Then no. Okay, well, listen. First of all, bring it down because you're a little loud, and it's just me and you. Oh no, what I was saying was, okay, listen, let's stop talking. I give it a minute. The conversation I went to there, I gave it 3 weeks. I gave it 3 weeks. I'm gonna see if this gonna keep festering. Like I told him, we don't need stuff to fester. We all grown in this room. Y'all are old enough to talk to each other.
That is a very good point. That is something that is very, very important. And that is don't allow things to fester. If you, the first time someone does something that offends you, at that point is when you're going to be the closest to not mad as you're ever going to be. If you understand what I'm trying to say.
Hmm.
There's not going to come another time, because if it happens again, now you're compounding it, and now I'm getting more angry every time it happens, or I feel more disrespected every time it happens. So the first time it happens is the best time to make your position known, that that doesn't work for me. Oftentimes what we do is we allow things to happen multiple times, and then we get mad, and we're so mad, and now we just blow up.
Correct. That's another thing. Okay, so after I had I opened up all the floor, but then when they started like derailing the conversation, I'm like, no, let's stop right here. Stop. Let me say this. Remember, this place is open 24 hours a day. It's never closed. So you cannot assume a person didn't do what they supposed to do, or they didn't do it, or whatever. You can't do that. Because first of all, you're not here, and this place is open 24 hours a day. We're gonna stop right there. Don't nobody say nothing yet. And then this, you need to understand this. You do a job that has to be done the whole time you're here.
Yes.
You want to go do it now, and it's
And then that's
no,
it for the no.
no, it has to be done the whole time you are on
Awesome.
the clock.
Awesome. Yeah.
Oh, I was thinking, no, I don't want you to think.
Uh,
No, don't
just need
think.
you to function.
Yeah, I said, don't do that. Because right now, no, that's not going to work. Because now I'm actually telling you is that because when I told him, I said, listen, when I come down here and do the walks with y'all, I stop walking with Brandy. I stop walking with Jack. I walk with you two. And I asked you on the way out the door, you got something you want to talk about? You got something you want to say? Both of y'all always told me no. Now here I come and here I hear this. We're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. That's something I'm not going to do because all of us are grown. We're not doing that.
You know, the other thing that's good about it, though, is that what it's doing is teaching them how to communicate one with another.
Yeah,
If you
and
can
they
pick
did
up the
that
same way that
effectively.
it worked with me and you, me showing you how to do it, now you're able to show them how to do it. And I
Hmm.
would even venture to say that is one of the positives about D-Dub having been an alcoholic, to try to help his mate now try not to be an alcoholic. There are some things that he will know that can help her. I just worry about all the other extra weight that's on the plate
Hmm.
at the same time. Normally, they would be the best person is somebody that's been through it to tell you how to overcome it. Somebody that's already overcome it. That's normally
Hmm.
the best option for you. But at this point, it's just some of the other challenges that he's dealing with. But that is example. You know, they talk that you hear this phrase all the time: lead by example. Lead by example. Show somebody what you do. Show them that this is what makes this work. Show them by your actions. One of the things in talk and learning and studying different things about women and how we influence men is normally it is our traits, the traits that they respect and admire about us, that will speak to them the loudest. And if we just remain who we are, as opposed to having to tell them something, just show them who we are and how we function, a lot of times they get more out of that than they do out of us trying to tell them how to behave. So that's
Correct.
very
And
important.
that's my thing. That's when I go out to the different sites or whatever, I'm always in a good mood. Like I start off in a good mood. Like I say, y'all turn it around with this stuff, trying to, I tell them all the time, stop trying to manipulate the conversation when you're talking to me, because that I don't want to do. I just don't want to do. But when I hit the scene, I'm good morning. How you doing? Everything okay? Everything's good. Okay, let me go do this real fast. I'm gonna walk real fast and I'll be back. If you got something you want to talk to me about, let me know when I come back. So I do it just like that every time. I do it like that every time. So that's why I didn't understand. I was telling them like I didn't understand what really the problem was here, because I ask this every time I come.
Well, one of the things I want to point out too is that when you, um, there have been times where you have said to me that you wasn't feeling like dealing with people and you didn't go walk. So when you, in
Hmm.
other words, it is a
Yeah.
conscious thing on your part to
Hmm.
make sure that when you go to present yourself to your coworkers, that you're in a good mood.
Yeah.
That,
When
no,
I don't
wait, you done
feel, yeah,
already
when I'm
had your
not ready.
breakfast. Look, we know.
Yeah, everybody, but see, that's crazy. Everybody know though. They be like, have you ate? Have you
Did you
had your
eat already?
soda? I be like, dang, hold on. Watch your mouth. Don't talk
They
to me
like,
like that.
did she eat? Did
They
she
don't talk to me
go
like
this
that. But
morning?
I make sure. But see, I told them I'm human too. I'm not a robot, y'all. I'm
Right,
not. Whatever you have going on in your life, trials, tribulations, trauma, I have the whole same thing, just like you. So
right.
I know when I'm not in that mood to be doing none of this. I know I don't make a move that day. I stay right there.
Yeah.
I might call on the phone, hey, so and so. That's it. But I don't get up and go because I know you're going to trigger something in me to say. So I know how to. I'm working on it. Thank you, sweetie. You've been teaching me a lot. But I'm working on it, and I'm proud of that. I say it all the time. But yeah, I know when I'm ready, and I know when I'm not ready. You know what I'm saying? When you hit me, if my phone ring before 7, now I'm pissed because I don't understand why you're calling me.
Okay, cool to say, because that's not my time. I'm not on the clock yet.
I'm not ready to be for human people right now. I'm not ready.
Uh-huh.
Now 8 o'clock, okay, I'm slowly, coming around and I'm ready. 9, I'm on. What's happening? Good morning. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right,
Good
right.
morning, how you doing? I'm ready for y'all.
Yeah,
But when you come to me like just so rough and I'm already in this happy mood, I'm like, damn,
yeah,
seriously?
yeah,
Come on. I'm not in the mood for this today. Not today.
yeah.
Because I started off all the time, like get Mr. Gilbert. I called, hey, I'm on my way to bring supplies. And I always call when I get to Tams. I'm not that far away.
Uh-huh.
Meet me in the garage, but you don't answer the phone. Yeah, when I pull up, I'm pissed off.
Okay. Because we've already had this
We already had the
conversation.
conversation.
We've had, and let me tell you something. What's important about that is you set up an agreement. That was
Mm-hmm.
something that's really, really important. I want to say this. Okay. So, we oftentimes we assume that people understand what we understand
Mm-hmm.
in situations. That's not true.
Correct.
We need to have agreements.
Mm-hmm.
And in this instance, you're talking about, right? You guys made an agreement that I'm going to call and I'm going to let you know that I'm coming and you're supposed to be there to receive it so you can take your stuff. Well, when the person is not doing that, you guys already had an agreement. But I think it's really important to never assume that people know, or unless you've had an actual conversation and had an agreement about certain things. Monica makes me think about when you talk about the guy hanging up. Can we just make an agreement? Can we agree that we will not hang up in each other's face? Like, that's a simple agreement. Now, as opposed to hanging up in my face, tell me I'm not in a position to talk about this right now. And when that person says that phrase, we got to
Hang
be
the phone
willing to let
up.
it go,
Hang it up. Don't push the issue.
right? We got to be willing to let it go. We can't say, no, I want to talk about it right now. You may feel that way. But understanding, again, that it means come to an agreement as to what our threshold is for this communication, so that when we move forward with things, we're in a position that we're not stepping over each other, we're not feeling disrespected or disregarded. Because at the core of what we're trying to do, the principle is is to resolve the conflict. That's the important thing. The important thing is what we're trying to do is communicate. But we can't do that if you think it's this way, I think it's this way, and we don't have no communication about that. It's really important for us to make sure that we are speaking the same language and that we have the same concept of what conflict resolution is. How do we do that? How do we come? We learn that from dealing with each other and from setting boundaries. Boundaries are important, even in a relationship with somebody that is the most intimate relationship you can have. You still got to have boundaries.
But first of all, like I said, it's steps. You have to take the proper steps. The first step is having self-respect and boundaries for yourself. I
Yeah,
can't assume you know these things about me if I don't open up my mouth.
there's no way.
I can't assume nothing. But
Mm-mm.
if I have the proper step one, respect, step two, boundary for me, now I can effectively talk to you. But I got to know how to talk to you. I can't talk to you with the hands and in the necks, in the eyes, and pop it. That I who you talking to, baby. But you got to know how to talk to somebody first of all for them to listen to you. And don't assume because I said, "Oh, I told you yesterday to do this and this and that." You told me you didn't. We didn't talk about anything.
Mm-hmm.
Cause you didn't. What if I had something I needed to do? Learn how to speak to somebody in the way you want somebody to speak to you. You want somebody to speak to you gentle and kind and firmly so you can understand them, but you rather talk to them crazy. That it doesn't work like that.
Right.
It don't work like that. That's why I get messed up with your friend. It don't work like that. You can't do me like that.
Yeah.
And then you want to run and try to flip. No, slow up because we already had a conversation. I already told you exactly how this is, how exactly it's going to go. You thought it was going to change. It had never changed. You showed me something already, and I'm standing on what I said. You cool? I seen how you move. Now I got to fall back. I said that directly to you. Nobody else in the whole goddamn company but to you. And you still want to keep moving and playing in circles. Now to me, I had to to keep telling myself, he's not trying to bully you, dog. He just playing. But no, he's not even playing with you. You don't even see him. See, I got to keep telling myself these things because I know what you're trying to. I know exactly what you want. You want a reaction from me. I'm a little bit smarter than what you think, baby. But
And
I
you know,
let you.
it's a need that they have to try to get that reaction. But
Yeah.
again,
I,
but
mm,
again, you don't have that. So, and you understand it, so you got to be the bigger person, right?
mm,
Unfortunately, a lot of times when we know things, that requires us to be the bigger person. Dang.
mm.
Sometimes I get sick of being the bigger person.
That's what I
Sometimes,
was getting. That was my
yeah.
biggest point because all I said to you was, "What do you have to say to me?"
Mm-hmm.
You ran and told everybody else, and I'm asking you, what do you have to say to me? And
Mm.
you, I said, okay, I see where you're trying to go with this, but I'm gonna back up for a second. I'm gonna let you get it
But
off,
just think about,
and I'm
just
gonna fall back with the question again. What do you have to say to me? Oh, that really, you couldn't take that again. You know what? I'm gonna still stand back because I see what you want. So I know how to give it back to you harder than what you think. You have anything you want to say to me? You still can't now. Oh my God. Oh,
but
oh.
just think about,
Did you leave the building with, oh my God? Okay,
but
baby.
Diane, just think about how much growth that is for you.
I'm proud of myself. You don't even
Just
understand.
think about how much
You
growth
don't even. Thank you, Miss Cheryl. Thank you.
that,
Thank you.
because Cheryl told her when just because she was mad didn't mean that she
Meg,
could hide
yeah. I
certain
took
things.
everything personal. I really did. I
Uh-huh.
used to take everything personal. I promise you, everything. Everything. You looked at me funny. What?
Why are
Yeah.
you looking at me like that?
But not no more. That's why remember I told you I don't even say nothing to him. I just laugh so I don't even get mad. Because I know what you're doing. So you think I don't see you. I see you.
You know, that's an interesting point because oftentimes people don't think that their um insecurities and their character flaws that people see them, they think they're hiding them, but they're not. And there are people that see it. Chester, you want to just say something, sweetie?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Um, what she just said, a lot of us do take things personal, and that's why we make that mistake of being so defensive when we try to talk to people. And a lot of times, the tools that we have, the other person don't have the tools. That's like you're saying, men always shut down because they don't have the tools to function, like they always say. When you don't know much, you can't do much. So, they have to learn them tools as well. A lot of times we be in our own way. And again, A lot of time we do take things too personal. Like
Mm.
she said, she just kept letting the dude go on and go on. She knew what she was gonna do. So yeah, and we got to get out of that. That's why I ended up in prison for taking things personal all the time. Didn't have no
Mm.
conflict resolution at all. But
Wow.
now that I know better, I can do better.
Yeah.
So
It's
yeah,
one of the reasons I always love to have you join us because a lot of times people don't they don't they another man may not take my word for it, right? Because I'm not a man,
hmm
but you can validate what I'm saying when it comes to men and things like that. But you also always have a good insight, and
hmm
it made me think about something that we've talked about before, which is people who have come home who did a lot of time in prison had to do a lot of the self-help groups and those things, but everybody didn't do that, right? The people that you
exactly.
come home to, they didn't have to do that. They just kept living, right? So you've
hmm
done a lot of work on yourself. You can't expect that everybody else learn not to take it personal, right?
Exactly.
You say, thinking about the fact that that's what led you to prison, and now you don't have to take it personal, right?
Exactly.
But people do, and like you say, it can lead to prison, it can lead to the grave, it can lead to a whole lot of places because we let it take over our emotions and how we feel, as if somehow our feeling, because a feeling is just a feeling. It doesn't mean it's
Yeah.
all real. It doesn't mean that I could say something to you and it may feel like I'm trying to play you or clown you in front of somebody. And that's not my intention at all. But if you feel that way because of your own insecurities, or people have done that to you in your past or in your childhood, your family members always told you to be quiet, kids should be seen and not heard, and all that kind of stuff. And you got all this built up, and then you think I'm watching you, you know what I'm saying? And now all of a sudden,
Yeah.
you want to fight me and you real upset with me because you think I'm still doing it. And it may not be that at all. Just because I feel
Exactly.
it doesn't mean that that hasn't happened to me before. And it doesn't mean that that wasn't what my family was doing or what has happened in the past. That may be exactly what happened in the past. But that doesn't
hmm
mean that that's what's going on here. And so
Yeah.
a
Definitely.
feeling is one thing to examine your feelings, but I'm always examining my feelings to find out, is this, why do I feel this way? Is this real or is it perceived? Am I making too much of it? And those kinds of things, because I owe it to the other person. I
hmm
owe it to myself, not to create something that's not real. So I need to ask questions, not make assumptions, and not take it personal. Somebody can be walking the room and I'm looking like this, and it could just be my nose is messed up, and you thinking I'm making face at you. You know what I'm saying? And now you
Yeah.
have with me, or she
Yeah.
make face every time I come in the room. It could be my allergies is messed up this week. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
But yet and still
Yeah.
if I'm taking it personal and I'm looking for everybody else, then that can be
But
problematic.
then that comes from you always want to blame somebody else. You don't want to take accountability for
Exactly.
yourself.
Yeah.
You don't want
Exactly.
to take accountability for self. And like I said, he plays the little games like, okay, say like what's today? Tuesday. So say like Wednesday last week, he walked in and said hello. Of course I'm gonna speak back. Hi. That's it. But see, that's what I said. I know you playing the game with me, but it's okay. You
Mm-hmm.
thinking you bothering me, but you're not bothering me. You bothering yourself because why? You keep doing it. I ain't doing nothing.
Mm-hmm.
You see, if you keep doing things, I'm not doing. I don't have nothing to say. Well, we spoke already. I'm leaving it right there. If you say hi, I'm gonna say hi back. Hi.
Mm-hmm.
That don't. That's not. But you thinking it's bothering me because they see if I did it to you, it would bother you. I
Right.
got more. I got more sense to what you think, baby. But it's okay. It's
Mm.
okay. I don't have time to sit and counsel your mother. I don't have time for that, and I'm not. I'm not. School is over for me. I'm not have time for. I have
Not
school for
teaching more
me.
people
No, I don't. I don't do that no more.
unless they
No.
learn it through your behavior, huh?
Yes.
That's the
Yes.
only way they're gonna get
Yes.
it. The only
Yes.
way they're gonna get it.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
You better take a picture and write it down, or get your phone and record it. Cause no, we no. Mm-mm,
Yeah.
no. No, I've
I
learned
think
that. I know how people try to trigger you. I know how people don't want to take accountability for their own actions. They don't want to take accountability for the words that come out their mouth. I understand all of that. And it took me a long time to be this way I am now. Now I can stand on what I say and I can take accountability for what I say out of my own mouth. I
And not
can't do
have to
that.
and not feel the need to respond to that. What were you gonna say?
Yeah, I don't. I don't have to respond to everything come out your mouth either.
Wait,
Because you
what
hit
was
me with the
your
high, I
question?
meet you with the high back. Hi.
hey, you know what that's called? That's called self control.
Oh, I got it now. I
Yes.
got it. Thank you,
What
sure.
that's
I got
called.
it now. She said, y'all don't know that she saved a lot
Yes.
of people. She saved people every day. She don't even understand.
It is
Yeah,
such a good thing, right?
I love it. I love
It may
it.
sound like a small thing, but self-control, and it takes a lot
yeah,
more power to exercise self-control than it does to kind of go off and, like cuss somebody out, or, like sometimes people really deserve to be popped in the mouth. They do. Shut up, right? You know what I'm saying? But it takes so much more self-control not to. And that to me is an amazing
Power.
thing.
That's
It's
power.
power. It is
That's
real power
power. That's
because we
power.
don't,
yeah.
That's
because we
power.
don't often we don't realize how important that is, but it takes more of that, particularly when somebody really is out of line and they're out of pocket. And but at the same time, you got more to lose than they do, and that's when you'll find that people get the most out of pocket with you when they realize that you got more to lose than they do. That's when they try you. But that is so true, Chester. That is self-control, and it's
Yeah,
a learning process. We have to learn how to do that.
Yes,
yeah, yeah.
I
Right,
didn't
coming
move
through
like this.
adolescence, coming
Yeah,
through
I didn't move like
adolescence.
this a couple of years ago. I promise you I didn't. If
Yeah,
I worked here a couple of years ago, yeah, I would have had something done to him. ASAP Rocky, because I feel like you want that's what you want. Oh, that's what you want. Oh, that's
sis.
what you want, baby.
They're not wanting that. They're
No,
not
no,
wanting
that's
that
what you
die. They're
want.
not wanting that
No,
smoke.
that's
They're
what
trying to say.
I got something
But
for you. I got
that's
something for you.
what you would have come to. That was a conclusion you would have
But
come to.
that's cause come on. I never took the time to think that far. Come on, look where I come from. Look what
Yeah,
I've been through.
yeah,
I'm gonna be honest about it all. Look where I come from. Look what I've been through.
right.
I never thought like that.
Yeah.
You did made me feel a certain kind of way. All right, bet.
Next, and now we got to go deal with what comes next.
Yeah, I'm gonna get on this phone. Hey, you need to come up here, baby. I'm at so and so and so and so real
Okay.
fast.
And thank heavens we don't have to deal with that at this point, right?
But
Thank
now I know
heavens
how to take care of me. I
that
know how to take care
the
of me
growth has
all the way
taken
now.
place.
Yeah, I know how to take care of me. I know how to control myself. I know how to control my thinking. I can control my mouth. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? I know how to do that. It took me a long time to get here. So come on, man. Leave me alone. You say coming here every day, getting out your bed to come play with me. Man, is you crazy? Are you crazy? You gotta be. I now know you crazy, but I'm like, I look at you like this nigga really crazy. God damn.
but you the crazy whisperer.
That's why I give it a look every time he walk by me like,
You the crazy whisperer.
mhm, mhm, mhm. This
That's
that's
your
why I make
job, and I
yeah.
didn't even know it when I hired you.
Shit, leave me alone, man. Leave me alone. Leave me alone, serious. Leave me alone. Cause someday and every day I can catch this motherfucker. You know what I'm
Hey,
talking?
Miss Cheryl.
Leave me alone.
Hey, Miss Cheryl. What you
Was
doing?
she
Talk to me.
was she eating?
I don't know. I know she working.
Okay, she working.
Miss
She
Cheryl,
always working.
can you hear me? Hello.
I don't see her. I can't see nobody.
Oh, there she is. Hey.
I've been on here the whole time.
I know,
So,
baby. I'm just saying, because I know you tend to take notes, and I don't want you to not see. I don't want you to not get to tell us about your notes and what you were
so
thinking.
first of all, you covered the four agreements. Don't take stuff personal. Don't make assumptions for Monica, who said she's looking at me. I was looking at my screen
Oh
because I'm right
wow.
in front of my computer, right? That's what I'm looking at.
Mm.
I'm trying to figure some stuff out. So, and then I went to say, when I was in prison, we had a spirituality group and we had to sit in the circle. And she taught us this, how, how Di was saying, one person talks. I don't care if they say something to make you want to respond. You do not respond until till that person has finished. And then if it's your turn, then you talk because it goes around the circle. and stuff. And it tends to calm them down on some issues. And also me, I take little notes and stuff. But also I wanted to say all of that for me, it's easy for me because Susan talks so much about giving grace. That's half of what Di is doing, except sometimes we let ourselves fall back to the way we were and want to say some smart stuff to people. But it's all about giving grace to people, and the grace we've been given, you give back to them, right? And that's why, and so we got a girl she turned 18 in Los Padrinos, and we have people periodically that nobody really wants to deal with, but it's like Susan says, meet them where they are. If you meet them where they are, you deal with them. If they go, they go. If they don't, but we're supposed to be nice to everybody, right? Because we've been there. And some people, they're a little bit different. One of the housing coordinators called me. I said, did you ask her? She said she don't never tell me nothing. But it's how you're talking to her, because she told me, I don't think she likes me because of the way she talks to me and the way she looks at me. And people don't understand that the way their voice comes out is what triggers people a lot too. Right? All right.
Jess, you
Thank you.
said that earlier about tone, right? The tone in which you speak to, and Diane mentioned all the hands, and then, because this right here, this, I done seen a whole lot of fights start behind this right here. Okay.
Get your finger out my face.
Ooh, ooh, ooh.
I'll put it in there. I ain't got it there, but I'll put it there. Yeah.
Okay. A whole lot of stuff that
Because
starts
that's the
behind
thing,
that.
because you telling them what to do, but you saying get your finger out my face. But it's telling me, well, you can't tell me what to do.
All this
Yeah, and
right
it
here.
triggers.
Okay, see, all that's aggression. All of that is perceived as aggression, and that can create a whole lot of mess that doesn't necessarily need to be out there, right? So I thank you, but I also want you, Miss Schroeder, just please take a bow for having made such a huge impact on Di's learning, because that was huge. I'm gonna tell you, she learned so much when you told her, when she was telling this story and about some crazy stuff she did, and you just told on the side, you was wrong, right? And whatever it was, and she was outdone for days. It took her days to be able
Oh
to
yeah, she got
follow.
mad. She got
Remember,
mad at
yes,
me.
she was mad with you. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, she was mad with
I
you.
tell you, and I was, but guess what? Thank you. I tell you this all the time. Thank you. Thank you so much. It took me like a month to process what you said, because I'm saying to myself, did she hear what I said?
I was mad,
I
and
was
that was
like, no,
supposed to be
because da, 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 da,
justification for
and I
everything.
said it like 2 times. She was like, no, but that don't mean you was right. You was wrong. But she hit it with me so low, and I'm like, I sat there the whole night. I was pissed. I couldn't wait to get out of there. I was mad. I couldn't wait. I was so when I got here, I was so mad. But I was
And
processing
that's
every
what is
day.
that, Noreen? Listening to
To
Tony said,
respond.
and
Yeah.
not to whatever the
Yeah,
way
that's what.
it
Yeah,
Understand,
but
goes.
not listening
Yeah.
to
that's what I'm saying. Like,
understand.
yeah, that really showed me something. Like, man, come on, like, you was wrong, Di. I had to admit it. Like, I was wrong. That I was wrong for what I did. I'm like, oh, okay. So now, like I say thank you to you and Noreen all the time, because y'all really helped me get over that part. Because that part they're serious to me. That's something I stood on. My
Well,
feelings, I
and it was
stood on.
also the thing, that could have landed you with a number.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But
It could have landed you
yeah,
with
how I
in
felt.
blues.
Yeah, how I
Yeah,
felt
because
taking the
you thought
pills,
that made
and
it,
popping the pills.
but the police
Yeah,
wasn't gonna care about that. The
that's
law.
what I'm saying. Yeah, popping the pills. But what I'm saying,
Wait.
how I felt, that's what I have grew a lot in a short amount of time, and it freaks me out a lot. Because that how I felt is that's what it is. I don't give a damn. That's how it is. But now I don't think like that. I
Girl,
don't
if
even
Diane
move like
if
that.
Diane went to prison, that she would have lost all her time, because that thing would have
Don't do that. That's not
been
nice. That
no.
ain't right.
If you had been the way you were
I
without
know.
how
Yeah.
you are, because this is
Yeah.
what, first of all, you've admitted that I
Hmm.
was wrong. You have to admit the
Yeah.
offense all the
Hmm.
time. It's
Yeah.
like, because I'm wrong on a whole lot of stuff, but I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna
Yeah.
say it.
Yeah. I
I'm
can
gonna
say it
admit it.
now with no problem.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah.
saying, for real, if that
But no,
had
you're
sent
right,
you,
Cheryl. She would
if
have lost a whole lot of time.
if that had sent you at that time,
Yeah.
what Noreen says, you with that anger, you gonna
Yeah.
lose your days. You lose days. You
Yeah.
lose days, and you still be there
Hmm.
online talking to us.
Yeah, and you're right.
That's like the
Yeah,
that's like the
it was
people
bad.
You know what?
that what's that,
And you
baby?
know what though? A lot of time, what you just said, we don't process what's being said to us. We just react. So we be
Yes.
impulsive with it. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? Like you said, once you
Yes.
took the time to process it, you understood it, and that's what we have to learn a lot about ourselves.
And you know what
So
Chester
yeah,
remind me of? It remind me of the person that went on a 7 to life and been there 30 some years because they ain't figured out how to get out of them personal feelings,
exactly.
taking it personal and making assumptions and realizing that just 'cause they feel something, you know what I'm saying? They've been there forever because they
Yeah.
ain't figured out how to come up out of that rat race
I
yet.
did,
You see
I
what
ain't,
I'm
you
saying?
know,
And they think that their feelings justifies
And
everything.
it's not. That's
No,
not true.
I
it
did
don't justify.
Not true.
28
That's
years on
not
You're
7
true.
to
right.
life.
Wait, what'd you say, D?
I did 28 on the 7 to life for
Oh,
Wow.
D
a
Dub.
lot of that,
Wow.
and a
you
lot
know,
of not current.
I
A lot of
encourage
not current.
people.
Wait, what's what'd you say, D
Did you
Dub?
finally read the four agreements, DW?
Oh yeah, yeah. I read. I mean, I took domestic violence and grip and all kinds of classes, and finally came to realization, man, I've been thinking wrong. I've been acting wrong. Just thinking mainly. But I mean, took me about 21 years before I finally just wow.
How old were you when you went?
24.
Still young,
The
still in your
Yep,
baby.
head.
Still the baby.
54 now. That was 30
yep.
years ago, but I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I stayed with that same thinking for 21 years in there, and then snapped out of it finally. But I was using in there.
Oh,
Oh,
I was selling phones. I was selling everything. I'm trying to live good in there, and it tweaked my whole way of thought processing because I wanted to stay in there because I was doing, I was doing what I thought was all right, and
DW was a man, huh?
a little bit for a minute. For a minute though, I'm not proud of it, but yeah,
He
I
was
mean,
a man, but it's
wait,
okay. But
but
guess
this is the
what? Guess
cold
what?
but I
part.
was undercover,
Guess what's okay right now? You can admit it now. You can tell
Yeah,
yourself the truth now.
yeah, it was bad. I
And
let
you
a
know
lot.
what? And the thing of it is, what you were is you was a king, but you was a king of the rats.
Yeah,
With
In the
that,
zoo.
you
I call
know
it the
what I'm
zoo.
saying? He
You
was
was
a
in
king
the
of the
zoo.
rat heap. Oh
You
well,
was up
what
in the
good
zoo
was
wide open, baby.
yeah,
You
yeah.
was in the zoo wide
Now
open.
look at me, barely getting by, dude. But I like myself better. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's awesome though. I love that. And that, I was going to ask you that. So yeah, you were still using and doing a bunch of stuff that you it gave you stinking thinking. It
Yeah,
wasn't
yeah,
it wasn't positive at
yeah.
all.
All
You
about
know what I'm
me.
saying? Yeah, that's awesome though. But I'm glad that you came to that realization. But you literally are example of what I'm talking about. Go in on a 7 to something. Next thing you know,
Mm,
um, next thing you know, you still there all them years later because you haven't adjusted.
Yeah.
right.
I'm saying, Miss Roberta, you want to say something? Did you want to say something, sweetie?
Hi, Bird Bird.
That's how I Bird.
Hi, Bird Bird. No,
We
I'm
love
not.
you.
Your name is Princess.
We
Go over
love
there.
you.
Where's she at?
As we can ready to close out. So I just want to make sure that you are your voice is in the room. It is.
Hi, Bird Bird.
Hey everyone.
We love you.
Hey,
Roberta gave me some shoes, y'all. They so cute. Let me
I
go get them and show y'all.
have to say in the beginning,
No, no, we don't. Look,
uh,
because she didn't bring me no damn shoes. So no, no. Okay.
yeah. I want to say something about Noreen's dad. Like, I
Oh,
want to thank him for giving her the ability through his genes to write and give us all her wisdom like this. So yeah, Father's Day coming up. It's gonna be rough on people that have lost their dad, and since we're
thank
all of the age we probably have, and I
yeah.
just want to say, give a little note to that.
Yeah, thank you because he really did. And my oldest brother, well actually both of them, they wrote really, really well. And um, when I think about also he also gave us his intellect. Like my oldest brother was the first person in the country to refer to gang violence as a public health issue. So that what he did, and now it is common uh in the country, around the world actually, that it is referred to in that way, which allows them to address it from a public health issue versus a violence issue and a punishment issue. But my
Mm,
brother started that 30 years before his death. He died in 2012, but he started working with philanthropists and researchers and people to get them to look at it from that perspective, which allowed them to then put public health dollars toward that issue as opposed to just punishment. So that was Eugene Williams Jr. is my daddy, and Eugene Williams III, my brother, which were brilliant men. I miss them both, but my daddy today is his birthday, and thank you so much for that. And I'm so
Sending love to
I'm
you.
grateful that he gave me that ability too. I didn't even know that I had it in me, quite frankly, D-Dub. I didn't know. But I was given a divine assignment, and I didn't have no choice but to write. And so I'm glad that it came out in such a way that it's been helpful to you and hopefully to everybody else. Another thing I would suggest, get the book for your girl too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
bingo. I was just gonna say that before
yeah,
we
Girl, you
yeah.
close.
die.
Her
I was
People
about to tell
Highway.
people, I was like, hold on, he need to get the book for her.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I'm gonna.
Yeah. And the book and the workbook, because
Hmm.
does the workbook, that's going to help her identify some of the
And
stuff
that
that,
and
that
that'll bridge a
started with
gap for them to
Now, Her
learn how to
People
talk to
Highway
each
or the
other.
other one?
Her People Highway and the workbook.
Oh, I have.
Dita,
Okay, yeah,
because
yeah,
that'll bridge a gap for you guys to learn how to speak to each other.
yeah,
Yeah,
That'll bridge it. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
That'll give you something to come together to speak on. You know what I mean?
Right, right, right.
that's
Thank
awesome.
you.
Monica, any last comments from you, my love?
No, I just enjoyed it. It's
Wonderful.
awesome that we come together and we talk like
Monica took
this.
her hair down. Look at her.
Uh-huh. She's so pretty. Hey,
I took a
better watch
shower.
it.
I take a shower every day, but I blow dry my hair every day.
I'm like, Monica got
I
her hair
blow dry
flowing
my hair.
down. What we doing?
We love it. We love it. And we're gonna have to come see you, okay? I just put that on my
You
list of stuff to
do.
do.
Yes, you
We got
do.
we gotta come see you,
You
sweetie.
you make ceviche?
Uh,
Yeah.
she
Huh?
mentioned,
Do you make
I know how to make
ceviche?
Yes, I do. I know how to make
Okay, I can
ceviche.
come. All right, I'll be there. Don't
oh
worry about it.
Lord, you know what? She's so greedy. All she want to do is eat, Monica. It is what
Okay.
it is. But
Whatever
Okay.
ceviche
is
is
in
her
life.
thing. When I tell you
Okay.
ceviche is it, she don't even deny it.
I,
Listen,
I love food. That's my
we the
friend. Come
greedy
on now.
people. We the greedy people, but we love each other. And I just want to thank all of you guys for a wonderful discussion this evening. This is Free to Heal. Check us out on YouTube, Free to Heal LA. That's our channel. We have all of our videos there. If you have comments that you want to leave on the videos, if there are topics you want us to discuss, let us know. You can
Okay.
catch us on Facebook, Instagram, and by all means, you can join us anytime, any Tuesday at 6 o'clock. Okay. We appreciate you guys. You guys have a good week, and we'll see you guys next Tuesday. Okay.
Later.
All
All
right.
right, later. Bye bye.